Thanks, Ron. Again, as always, it's great to be back with you and the Angelbeat community. Thank you for such an amazing opportunity for letting me speak to talk about Outposts. Hey, everyone, my name is Steve Woodard. I'm a cloud strategist here at AWS. In the last 3 years, I've had this amazing opportunity working with our customers to really help them accelerate their cloud journey. And one of the great things I want to talk to you today about is the opportunity we have with Outposts and how this is really enabling our customers to really kind of support those applications that have those low latency, local data processing requirements. So I'm going to go ahead and unpack this a little bit. I know I've got about 30 minutes here. Here we go. So what we're seeing in the industry is we're seeing this evolution where customers have this continuum of applications that are either easy or they're really hard to move. And really here in the first box here, we've got the low-hanging fruit. We've got those low, those easy to move applications. Those are the real easy ones to migrate. Those are back office SaaS applications we deliver to mobile devices. In the middle, we have workloads that could either go in a cloud, they could go on-prem. It really just depends. And this is typically the type of situation that involves, really the data needs to remain in a particular country, state, or it's basically guarded by some sort of regulatory or contractual agreement. And on the right-hand side, this really addresses kind of where workloads are very hard to migrate. And this is probably because these applications require low latency, local data processing. Maybe these are workloads that run on a factory floor, or they're automated operations within manufacturing, or they're used for something called real-time medical imaging. This could also all be content or media streaming. And we really kind of look at the continuum across these three spectrums. And at AWS, we're looking at ways that we can continually rethink this app continuum. And we need to also, from an infrastructure services, take a look at how this is really going to help customers move workloads to the cloud, or maybe some of the applications really can't move. If we start with AWS regions, where this will serve as where most customers can extend out to the farthest part of basically kind of the edge, whether that's using IoT or disconnected environments. We're building out the services in the middle tier where customers really need those infrastructure services. Or it's on-prem. These could be large metro centers near end users, or maybe they're leveraging something where they're going to go at the edge of the 5G networks to really reach those mobile device users here. And if we look across the continuum, AWS serves the needs of most of those customer use cases. In our middle tier, Outpost provides those infrastructure services for customers who run on-prem environments, or if they're looking to basically use the building blocks of something called local zones that really bring AWS services closer to the end user in those large metro environments, or even a new service we got called Wavelength that really delivers AWS services to the edge of the 5G networks. And really, for those workloads that need to run in remote locations, there's a lack of consistent network connectivity or no on-prem availability. That's really where IoT Greengrass and Free RTOS and also part of the Snow family of devices are best for those rugged type of environments. Now, if we take a step back for a second, there are three main reasons that really dictate why applications must remain on-prem. That's a question we have to answer. First, there are going to really just be, matter of fact, latency-sensitive applications. Some of those applications are business critical. They are very sensitive to latency, or they have variable in latency, right? So you have applications that run on-prem and they need to support specific type of equipment. They have processes that are very sensitive to latency, and really they need to ensure that they have a very smooth, predictable operation, so that way it can provide that superior experience to those end users. Second, we look at things such as the data locality or the local data processing and the data integrity, and this could be where customers need to have data that has extensive, or they have data intensive workloads that collect and process hundreds of terabytes per day. And then basically we're talking about transmitting this large amount of data to the cloud. It could be very wasteful and very expensive. And then transmitting those messages over data streams over long distances through those internet connections really lead to kind of that packet loss, and that really leads to a data integrity problem. It would really be nice if, in fact, if in a perfect world, we can basically say, hey, I want to be able to run AI/ML frameworks. I want to run analytics. I want to be able to do visualization insights. And I want to be able to do that all on-prem, but have the cloud-like capability. You could do that. Third, we look at basically what we call the applications with those data residency requirements. This could be where you have to operate in geographical jurisdictions where those regulations dictate really kind of where that data and infrastructure must reside for a specific country. You may want to do business with a public sector entity where contracts really kind of specify where that data is deployed. Or lastly, your enterprise may be kind of in the process of migrating to the cloud, but you're really, as of yet, not really ready to move to AWS regions, specifically maybe because of InfoSec or maybe some other business concerns. And there's also some additional challenges that we really talked to customer, and we heard this as kind of part of the discovery. Number one is that customers really want to be able to have the same experience across on-prem and the cloud. But there's some IT challenges there. Those challenges are things such as procurement, provisioning cycles. These could be very long and complex because sometimes it takes 6 months or more to get servers deployed. There are multiple vendors to go through and procure. You have to install the hardware. You got to maintain it. You got to maintain that on-prem infrastructure. And you've got to be able to figure out how you can bring efficiency and consolidation into procurement. Those are two very typical things to do. There's developer challenges. How do your developers use different APIs and tools to build those applications for the cloud and on-prem? And maybe there's possibly going to be some re-architecting work that they need to go into to rebuilding those in order for them to work in various environments. So how do you build applications once, run them on-prem, and then basically deploy them in the cloud using the same API tools? And all of these ultimately lead to a business challenge. And that business challenge is inefficiency in IT really does lead to a poor ROI for technology. And if we think about investments, we think about business growth, this really where it becomes a lagger. And if you look at it from its perspective of if you're operating on-prem environments lag behind the pace of the scale and innovation of the cloud. So how do you leverage new technology for better innovation, for better deployment across services, and really get better insights? And that's the question, that's the problem we've been trying to solve. This is where we heard our customers, and this is when we deployed Outposts. So in 2019, December, right around re:Invent, we launched AWS Outpost. And quite simply, what is Outpost? Outpost is simply, you think of it this way, it's a pool of compute and storage resources or a set of compute and storage capacity that can be deployed at the customer site. AWS operates, we maintain, we monitor, we manage the capacity as part of a region, and then you as the customer can create subnets within the Outpost and then specify them when you're creating resources such as EC2 instances. This could be EBS volumes, you could be deploying ECS clusters, or you could be leveraging RDS. And these all could basically be run and provisioned within Outpost. And those instances that are provisioned in the Outpost subnets communicate with other instances within the AWS region using private IP addresses within the same VPC. The main benefit here to the customer is that once you develop or once you deploy Outposts on-prem, you can do this without having to rewrite your applications. You can have the same hardware, the same software infrastructure, and it provides you with the same set of services and tooling across the cloud and on-prem environment. So now you start to run modern applications, cloud-native applications anywhere. So now this starts to really kind of bring that mirroring of on-prem and cloud-like capabilities all together. Another feature here within Outposts, I won't go into great detail here about it, but you can run Outposts in either Outposts with VMware Cloud, or you can run Outposts as a variant within its own subset here. So you get a choice of either one you want to run through. The benefit here is that you still have the same management plane for your APIs. You still have the same management console. You can build on the automation. You can still build in those governance policies. And also the great thing too is that you can also pack in the same security controls across all your applications, across the cloud and on-prem as well. So we talk about numerous use cases within Outposts, and this is starting to grow and surpass many different industries. So for example, with healthcare life sciences, we start to see systems that run on-prem because of the low latency processing requirements. They want to also use analytics and machine learning services. So for media entertaining company, for gaming company, they want to be able to do graphic processing, audio, video rendering, and even streaming. When we look at banking and how this is also disruptive as well, is that we look at banking and processing payments really for those customers who want to be able to keep the data local. Outposts can help with that data locality and residency requirements. So let's take a look at one or two customer success stories that's leveraged Outpost and why it's been so impactful. If you look at Philips, Philips is definitely one of the leaders within healthcare and device manufacturing here. You start to see here their challenge was critical care lacks predictive analytics for preventive treatment. Outpost was able to really come in, solve that problem, because what it provided them with is a way for them to basically have end-to-end visibility, work within storage and computer environments, integrate seamlessly with inside their current confined operating systems with inside on-prem as well as in the cloud, consistent management across their DevOps tooling for the Philips company itself. And the business outcome is that they were able to leverage Outpost to be able to deliver those AI ML plat capabilities and have that consistent infrastructure experience and tooling across the different spectrums. You look at Riot Games. Riot Games, again, another great customer win for us. We talked about this challenge where they needed to launch a new game under really tight deployment timelines. Outpost was able to really reduce the deployment times for those players, and to talk about when we look at gaming industry as a whole here, the end user experience is paramount. We talk about being able to have that low latency within compute and storage. They deployed Outposts in 4 different cities, three countries globally to support that game release, and Riot was able to rapidly move production workloads to Outposts with no changes in their server infrastructure, because if you see here, the biggest thing is that they were able to use the same services, same APIs, and the same tooling across those different regions. Another one here, Dish Networks. We combined, we talked to Dish. We were able to get a vision for where we wanted to create this cloud native 5G network from core to edge and run this continuously across the customers to have that continuous customer experience, and then really being able to leverage the capabilities within 5G. And really we worked with 5G to kind of work on that alignment with Dish Network and help them analyze the value of basically running on the cloud, but also being able to have that ability of taking that buy versus build approach. And this is one of the things to our culture of innovation. Dish was able to find new and innovative ways to have that capability to deploy a network from core to edge that brought all the benefits of cloud really in their ROIs and incredible, and how that was able to accelerate their time to market. So let's take a look at Outpost, really kind of what it is. If you've been in the network industry for quite some time, if you work in data centers, this looks very, very familiar to you. This is what an Outpost looks like. It comes in a 42U rack form, fully assembled, ready to go. It can be rolled into position, and really this could be associated here. It shows up your data center, fully assembled, ready to go. You just roll it in, plug it in the network, and there you go. And it really comes with a centralized redundant power conversion for those DC power distributions. It also has redundant active components such as redundant switches, also has spare capacity. So there's definitely a lot of redundancy built into this whole entire rack unit here. If we look at this 3-dimensional view of this a little bit more in detail here, we start to look at Outposts here. Now this is used as centralized redundant power, again, distributed DC distribution system in the backplane. This is handled with line mate connectors. This way you can just simply snap them into place to provide that power. And those Outposts, the power shelves itself, support 3 different power configurations. So those power configurations can depend upon exactly how that capacity is going to be racked, or how it's going to be handled. You get your choice between 5 up to 15 kVA power supply that will also be redundant power to feed the power. And then you also have a central power bar bus that really provides a way for you to distribute power to each server. So now you can kind of do this, in a way that really suits your needs here. And then we also have different whips supporting a variety of different types of power types as well too. And again, Outpost Security here, this is built-in tamper detection and closed rack. Again, this is delivered completely assembled. And the great thing here is that data Outpost is fully encrypted. Of course, you get the crypto key. And then, of course, removable hardware and is destroyed basically using crypto in this standards as well. So another thing is we've got coming out as well this year too is Outposts in 1U and 2U, and this is also built within the Graviton processor. And the great thing here is that now if you're looking to run this within limited space or possibly at maybe remote locations, the Outpost 1U, 2U configurations is really great for this, right? You still get a chance to run all of your favorite services, ECS, EC2, EKS, even edge services like IoT and Greengrass. And these are really ideal for workloads that require low latency, local processing needs. Great thing about this is that it's also built on the AWS Graviton processor, which are custom built by AWS. These are 64-bit ARM cores that really deliver the best price and performance for cloud computing. This is our own chip. We've designed this. And really, if we look at EC2, EC2 provides the broadest set of different, broadest portfolio of different compute instances, and those are basically powered by the latest generation of Intel and AMD processors. And the benefit here to the customers is if you're using the Graviton processor, it adds even more choice to allow customers to optimize those performance workloads. And the benefit here is that you can lower the cost on those workloads because of the lower cost. Again, 1U, 2U are great for processing at the edge. So you think about across different industries, across different type of workloads. Retail stores are great for things like point of sale systems, security monitoring, network administration. You look at healthcare providers. Healthcare providers want to be able to have, they have a range of hospitals and they have client sites with varying sizes. They want to be able to kind of have the latest tech to access patient information or patient images. They want to process medical data locally, and then they want to do it quickly. And they want to do this from the benefit of the cloud, and they also want to be able to use that long-term storage as well. You think about factories and what factories have to go through in terms of being able to the facilities that they have. So you got factories, you got warehouses, distribution centers, and all of this here is what we call computing at the edge. So they want to be able to have the power automation. They want to integrate IoT. They want to integrate data streaming, monitoring systems, and then be able to provide that feedback back to the operators, which could be multiple, could be miles and distances. So again, we see here that when we launched Outpost, we supported 34 countries. And in just 1 year, by the end of 2020, we now have a total of about 51 countries. Now it's up to 56 countries and territories. So we've added 5 new countries where you can deploy Outposts, including Puerto Rico, Colombia, Macau, the Philippines, Brunei. In a total, we have 56 countries that support AWS Outposts today. And we're also continuing to add more countries and territories over time based upon customer demand. We now are supported within 23 regions. So whether you're operating on one end of the globe or the next, you can now leverage Outposts to connect any type of environment, commercial, gov cloud, even across the world. The only thing currently excluding the countries right now are basically the Chinese, the regions of China. Now we are going to continue to support all those new regions as they launch, including 5 new regions that launch, such as Spain, Jakarta, Switzerland, Hyderabad. And basically, as a side note here, is that you can really pick any region that you can deploy this to within. So if you have an Outpost installed in Dublin and all of your resources are part of EU Central 1, you can establish connection to EU Central 1 for a shared resource access, which is really nice. Yep. So again, we talk about addressing this customer challenge. I think we talked about this a little before. Really, it allows you. Outpost essentially is a way for you to think about increased productivity and increased innovation using the same development, same deployment, same operational efficiencies for those applications running on-prem and in the cloud as well too. And the great benefit here I'd like to tell customers is that when you talk about this is that you still have the same use of those AWS APIs, and that allows you to run those things such as being able to provide low latency applications, data locality, and then you could use this and leverage this with inside your region. So what services come with Outposts? That's a question I get with customers. Well, the great thing here is that you have a lot of choices. A lot of the services that you know and love, you currently can run these with inside Outposts as well. So if we continue to keep updating this as services get launched and as they get added into Outposts. So if you look at things such as something that we launched recently here, which is S3 for Outposts, which enables you to store object data on-prem using the same AWS S3 API. And S3 Outposts can deliver that object storage to on-prem Outpost environments. If you need to meet those local data processing, data requirement needs, that's really cool. You can have that. You can have that there in the Outpost as well. You think about being able to leverage EBS, local snapshots. So now you can do local snapshots within Outposts that you could store the snapshots of your EBS volumes locally on S3 to Outposts to really be able to, again, meet those local data needs. You can leverage RDS. Coming soon, we definitely have Postgres and SQL Server database engines, and we're going to support additional database engines in the near future as well too. But currently today, we've got MySQL, Postgres, and Microsoft SQL Server. And it really makes RDS simple and easy to use because now you can really just set this up in a few minutes, just as you would in the console itself. You also can leverage Cloud Indoor, which is a feature I'm going to really touch on a little bit more in detail here. Cloud Endure is a way for customers to be able to leverage the integration with Cloud Endure to help customers with migrations as well as disaster recovery. So that's the service I really want to hit on a little bit more in detail here. This is something new that we've integrated. Again, the Cloud Endure is a great way for customers to be able to migrate and move because disasters come in many different forms. There could be a backhoe operator basically taking out a WAN. There could be a surge suppressor basically catching fire underneath the floor of a data center. This could be a naturally occurring event like an earthquake, or among other things. The great thing here is that Cloud Endure, what it's going to do is the Cloud Endure agent is going to basically be served as the source to capture the workload and transfer it to a lightweight staging area. And then what's going to happen is that when it's moved into Outpost, Outpost is equipped with S3 on Outpost, and this method really provides that ability to perform a low effort, non-disruptive DR. And you can even do this for drills even before the cutover. So now you can even simulate the disaster recovery within the Outpost even before it happens. And now, of course, with the Cloud Endure DR is that now you can provide that continuous replication for those mission critical workloads. So let's take a look about what this looks like from a network architecture perspective. So really here we got our VPC, we've got our resources deployed within the availability or within our region, we've got them across availability zones. And the great thing here is that you can really extend your VPC on-prem by creating a subnet, associating it with the Outpost, just as you associate subnets inside the availability zones within the cloud today. And then basically, as the control plane is in the public region, you can access a wide range of services locally on your Outpost inside your region through a public endpoint, or you can go through basically a private endpoint that could be connected to VPN as well. So again, you can connect your local network through those Outposts, basically what they call top of rack or Tor switches. So you can leverage that. You can configure a VIF, which is just a virtual interface that maps to your VLAN using what they call a link aggregation control protocol or LACP. And then you can also configure a new local gateway to the Outpost that allows you to then route traffic to and from your local network using that VIF. All right, so how do you get started with an Outpost, right? I'm a customer, I want to get an Outpost. How does it look like? First, you go into the console, you browse through the catalog, you find the configuration that fits your needs, and you can filter by instance type, EBS storage, supported services. You can even do if you have site constraints. So let's say, for example, you've got a constraint specifically on a power draw or a networking uplink. Then you can create a logical outpost within the site, and then of course you can fill out the network information. And then once that's done, you just simply place the order right from the console. Once you place the order, AWS one of our associates from the Outpost team is going to get in touch with you to fill in the information, to confirm the information. Within a few weeks, we're going to deliver the Outpost right to your site. And then what we're going to do is we're going to help you install and configure the Outpost to connect it to the region, specifically from inside your local network. And then we can also install multiple racks at your site, basically provided you have the space, power, and cooling, and network connectivity to support it. We can do that as well. And then basically you launch, right? So now that it's installed, create a subnet, launch an instance, you're ready to go. And then now you can automatically just launch your resource inside your VPC and inside your Outpost as well. We are continually expanding our partner network to basically now integrate more and more. We now have over 64 solution offerings across 58 partners. And this now allows customers more flexibility, more choice in having a choice of partners that we work with, to giving the customer such as ISV partner product offerings, qualified SI partners. That just gives customers more choice when they look to embrace Outposts. In addition to our technology partners, we've got also what we call our Service Ready program, which we also bring in our APN consulting partners that have deep expertise in helping customers basically migrate those applications to AWS. There are more than 40 different partner offerings that have proven infrastructure, software, and industry experience, and they have the ability to basically run applications inside Outpost. And these solutions also include the discovery, these include planning, these include migration, this includes operation. And the great thing here for customers is that they can, of course, choose the partner for their specific strategy and technology advisor that they want to run specifically across the workload, or basically run across Outposts as well too. So for more information about Outpost, you can head out to aws.com/outpost to get all the latest information. And of course, if you are interested in our 1U, 2U server rack server offering, it is definitely still in sign-up phase. So definitely go out there and sign up, and you'll be notified once new news is updated to the site as well too. I know that was a lot of information in a very short amount of time. Definitely Outpost is something that could probably take a whole entire day to just really unpack. Just because there is more to it. We really didn't even get into the security and compliance aspect of it. But if in fact, if you're interested hearing about more, reach out to me, or in fact, if you go out to our AWS blogs, there's definitely more information out there as well too. So I'll open it up for questions at this point. If there's any questions in the chat box, feel free to answer those now.
Great. Well, a couple of things. First, I was remiss, and that was great stuff, Steve. I want to point out that Eric Manley with Albertson is the winner of our second $100 gift card. So Eric, you just need to email me at rgerber@angelbeat.com and we'll get that to you. I appreciate everyone sticking with us. Remember, I'm going to have a third raffle prize winner. I know one of the questions that Narashima asked, and maybe you can even comment on this, because I know you're familiar with various AWS tools, is which CI/CD platform works better with AWS Control Tower?
Which CI/CD pipeline works best with AWS Control Tower?
Or tool? I'm sure you know that now. It could be that it's a logical thing. It's Circle CI, who's our next speaker, but I wanted to at least use that as a nice logical segue.
Well, the great thing about Control Tower and integration within various different types of CI/CD tooling is you can now leverage the CDK, which the Cloud Developer Kit allows customers more choices and being able to integrate their different types of CI/CD DevOps processes within inside Control Tower. So if you're looking at leveraging Control Tower, or if you're looking at easy integration between a CI/CD type of environment, definitely I encourage you to go out and look at the CDK. The CDK is a great way for you to incorporate that into your existing CI/CD pipeline or your current existing DevOps process. It's definitely something you want to take a look at.